Hello, everybody. We have on a very special guest, Mr. Mark Harmon. He's a teacher at Carroll County High School. Mr. Harmon, how are you doing?
Doing great. Great to see you guys.
I can say for both me and Ethan, we're very excited to have you on.
Yeah.
And we're actually recording this episode inside the high school.
Yeah, inside the field house.
Me and Ethan have both had you as a teacher. It was during an odd period of time during COVID.
You both survived.
Yeah.
We did back in. We're both very happy to have you on.
Yeah.
So we like to start out every interview with the same question: where did you grow up?
I grew up in the Laurel community in Carroll County. Early on, my father, getting started in life, we were at Woodlawn for a little while, but he lived in Laurel, and then we moved there. I guess, I was 8 years old, and that's where all my friends and relatives and friends and raised at. I had friends all over the county, but that's where I came from.
Yeah.
It's a small, close-knit community. I still see some of the people that I went to elementary school with, and we're a small school, but there were a couple people there, authors that have written books and done a number of great things. Yeah.
So after this, did you move on to Woodlawn or?
Yes, I moved on to Woodlawn. In those days, Woodlawn was 8 and 9, and then you would come to high school in 10th grade, which most people did until I guess about 10 years ago. It's been a while. Yeah.
Did you have any teachers in high school that had a big impact on you?
The biggest impact I had, a lady that's sadly has passed on, Mamie Taylor. Mamie Taylor was a great lady. I had trouble with reading and thought it was dyslexia. It was really a sensory deficiency. But I can remember being at Woodlawn. I started out school there at Woodlawn. I was in the 2nd grade, and then after that I moved to Laurel. But I just couldn't read because, the way I saw things back. Couldn't read. I just remember being hot, and Mamie Taylor trying to teach me to read. And I'm sure she got frustrated with me, and I know I got frustrated with her. But I learned to read, and then I read everything I could find. But she really opened a lot of doors to me, and we were still, even after school, we still contacted one another, and she passed away, sadly. It's been about 5-6 years ago, and somebody came to my door, and they said, "Hey, we think you'd like to have this." And it was a Christmas ornament that I gave to her as a kid in 2nd grade, and she still had it. She kept it on her tree.
Wow.
And they gave it back to me. But she was just a great lady. Mamie Taylor, a lot of great teachers out there, a lot of teachers that really inspired me. Mr. Blevins, Kim Blevins was my social studies teacher, really did a great job. Had a lot of teachers. There's a lot of great teachers in Carroll County. Yeah, and I'm afraid I'll leave somebody out too, but there are a lot of great influences in my life.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Did you have a love of history from very early on? Or?
I did. Yeah, ever since I can remember, I've loved history. And then when I could read, I would just any history books, anything I'd pick up. I think my parents influenced me too. They got a set of like different books. Of course, they had encyclopedias. A lot of people in those days bought those things, but they had also Time, Life, different series about history and things like that. And in those days, you didn't have cell phones everywhere and the internet everywhere and things like that. So I just started reading, and that's what I would do. I would do it all the time, but even at summers and things like that. And I think that's really what got me going. My parents doing those things.
So when you move on to high school, were you involved in high school athletics?
I was a little, and then unfortunately, my mother, she worked in a factory. She worked at it's called Barker Microfibers now, but it was Sprague Electric then, and she got laid off. And my dad was self-employed as a barber, and they came and told me, "So we know you'd like to go to college. You'd like to be a history teacher one day, and we just can't. We love you, but we just can't provide a lot of money." So I knew I wanted to go to school, and I liked athletics. It was great, but I decided in my 10th grade, I started working. I worked full-time, 40 hours a week. I worked at the old Lowe's Foods and then later Food Line. It made money. I enjoyed it. I thought I did pretty well at what I did and worked hard at it. But again, anything you do in life, if you do one thing, you take away from other things. So I lost contact with a lot of my friends and things like that. Still, I reconnected with them, things like that. But I worked all the time, and I wanted my kids. I told them, you can work in school, but just don't work all the time. If someone wants to do that and that's their choice, it's fine. I wouldn't change it for anything, but I did miss out on some things, connections and things like that. But I think if I'd changed it, done something else, I'd ended up different. I'm very happy with my life, happy where I'm at, happy with my family and friends and what I've done in my life.
You mentioned knowing that you wanted to be a teacher and that you wanted to go to college. Did you have a college in mind?
Not really, no. I just knew I wanted to go. I just didn't know. And things don't always work out the way you planned them and things like that. And I didn't have, I'd save money, but I didn't have a whole lot of money. So I went to Surrey Community College in Dobson. And I went there, and it was a great school. Everybody there was so great, so supportive. It was very cheap. That's why I went. But then I went to Radford University, and Radford was close. It was close. I could be around my family. There was my last year in college, I stayed at home and traveled back and forth. And that was mainly because of the location. I really loved it. And then if you guys had me in class, I'm probably mentioned I had a great opportunity as a junior at Radford University to foreign exchange, was a student teacher in England, and really enjoyed that, and it probably changed the way I thought of things in life.
Yeah. Can you tell us about some of your experiences you had in that program?
At Radford University or in England? Or
in England, in the exchange.
Oh, in England. Just a culture shock for me. I thought everybody lived like we did in the United States of America. And just to see, I love the history. I love being there. Love the history. I stayed at Nottingham University, a room there, and just different things I would do. I would have different things on the weekends and things like that I would do. But school was so different, where they didn't keep grades. Didn't really keep attendance. If you were there, you understood you're going to do well in life, and only 10% of the students back then would go on to college, and so it's really a big competition. So if you didn't care, didn't want to do your work, or didn't care, they're like, that's your choice. And it was just so different. But the kids were great. I loved it. I loved the experience. It was nice to visit, but I was glad to come back to Carroll County too.
Yeah.
How long did you spend?
In England, I was there about a year.
A year.
Yeah, I was there a year, and finished up in the summer and came back, and I was like, I'm ready to come back. It was nice to really. I don't know if you guys do this when you go on vacation. It's nice to go on vacation. You look forward to it. You get on your vacation, but it's really nice to come back.
Yeah.
And that's I love Carroll County. I love the people, and I'm not a big city person, of course. I wouldn't really care for Carroll County if it was. But I really like it, and I know most everybody. But I've gotten to the age I'm older now, and so the guys that work on my car, I either went to school with or I taught them as students. The dentist is my former student. The doctor is my former student. All those things. It means you just got old, I guess. But yeah, I just like being in a place where everyone knows who you are.
Yeah. So after college, what was your first place of employment as a teacher?
As a teacher, I had, I was thinking about moving. I was accepted to George Mason University for public administration. And again, money, a lot of problems. Sometimes just money, like finishing up school and paying for all the things, you're paying rent, things like that. So I was like, well, I'll hold on that a year and I'll make money and things like that. So I was working at Food Line, and I'd had my application at Carroll County, and Charlie Smithers was a principal and gave me a call and said, Mr. Mayo, Howard Mayo, he's going to China, and he's taking another job. He's going to become the head basketball coach here at Carroll County High School, and so we'd like for you to take his job the last 44 days of school. And so I did that, and after that, then I had to apply again, and so I guess I didn't do too terrible of a job, but they had me back the next year, and I was very fortunate, very, very happy. Back in those days, there was a lot of people that were involved in education, and it was really hard to get in. And I was just hanging out for a year to make money to go into graduate school, and then that just came along, and life happens. And I'm happy with the way everything worked out. But I was planning on going there. I'd actually visited the campus. I'd been there, got my schedule set up, all those things, and I said, well, I've got to hold off. But sometimes things in life are planned. Sometimes God plans them and you don't know, and that's what happened in my life.
What was the subject that you were teaching when you first came?
When I first came, world geography.
Okay.
I taught world geography. And one thing I noticed right off the bat, I was teaching world geography. I was like, whoa, wait a minute, I don't know all that. I haven't been taught this. So we had history, we had government and things like that. And I was like, oh, I need to know geography. I know I've been to England, but there's a lot more than just Europe and North America. And I was like, oh, I've got to be prepared. And so I really had to. That first year was really a culture shock. It's like, oh, as a teacher, you're prepared for everything and anything, and it wasn't the case. for even in life or as a teacher. You may think you're ready for everything in life, but no.
What was the process like to learn that material?
Really, me to stand a step ahead. They had these things called Geo Safari and things like these. And I even looked like kids did these things. It's like, you guys are probably too young to read. It's called Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? Have you guys ever heard of that? Oh gosh, it was like this guy would travel around and try and find where they were at. And it was a program, but they also had like tutorials and things like that. And it was a pretty interesting way, but it's people that are older would it's Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? And it'd be like some bad guys going, they give you hints, and they're going to be in Venezuela, and you have to figure out where they're at, and then they're going to fly to Russia and things like that. But yeah, just to do that, just really to study it too.
So it was like a game, I guess?
Yes, it's like a game, and I think they even had it was a TV program on for a while too about it. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool.
How long did you teach geography before you moved over to?
Geography, really geography, the way we did things, it was at the time when I first started teaching there, it was Hillsville Intermediate.
Okay.
And then it changed to Carroll County Middle School.
Okay.
So it's about 5 or 6 years. And then I did World History, World History 2. I've taught that. I haven't had other opportunities, but I really like World History 2. And a lot of people have asked, you've taught it for now 30 years, but I've taught 25 years of World History 2. But I don't teach it. You don't teach everything the same way every time and same things. And sometimes I'll be teaching things like I've always taught, but we'll delve into some aspects more.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps it fresh, keeps it new. But
Yeah.
I guess if I did the same lessons, the same thing day in and day out, I would lose my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and then I say I teach history, but I teach students because the students are always different and changing. The students have really changed over the years too with the technology. But that's good and bad. The technology is good too.
Yeah.
It's not all bad. There's some bad things about it, but there are a lot of great things about technology too. I can complain, but I can't make it without my cell phone.
Yeah.
Either.
I think a lot of people feel the same way.
Absolutely. So you're a teacher here.
Yes, sir.
When did you move into athletic coaching?
When the very first year that I was a teacher, I taught those 44 days, and the next year I was there, and I didn't want to be a coach. I wanted to. I wanted a year or two to do my job as a teacher because I'm a teacher first and foremost, and then do athletics. I was like, okay, after about a year or two, I'll get into it and things like that. Let me make sure I'm good as a teacher. Well, that first year, Mr. Charlie Smithers came to me and said, hey, would you like to coach girls softball? And I was like, well, I never coached girls softball. I've only done baseball. I did my student teaching at Georgia with High School, and I helped with the varsity program and things like that. And I played baseball, not all the way through, but I played baseball. And he said, would you like to have a job next year? And I said, I would be glad to coach girls softball. And so I really, in those days, and they do it sometimes today as teachers, you have to coach. Because they need you to coach, and also they feel like we gave you a job out of all these people, and we played. They just were starting because it was it just had switched over to Carroll County Middle School, and it was slow pitch. Slow pitch had 4 outfielders. Miss Robinson, Lori Robinson, was my assistant coach. I was the head coach, and we had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. We won 8 games, lost 4. Miss Questenberry, who's now the principal, who I guess is my boss, she was my second baseman, and she was first year. But I really enjoyed it, and the ladies were great. And then after that, some jobs opened up in baseball. I always loved baseball, and so I started coaching baseball. Loved it, and I moved up from 8th grade to JV head coach, and all those things. And I've done it for a really long time, but. In my private life, I have a lot of fruit trees. I have 30 fruit trees. And the spring is a real crucial time. So I love football, I love baseball, so I really had to pick one. And then I stayed with football because spring is so important for getting everything started.
Yeah. And you mentioned football. Your team at Galax has came very close to winning a few state champions.
Right. Well, the one thing too, I love Carroll County with my whole heart. I bleed Cavalier blue and things like that. Just some situations that happen. No secret that I couldn't get along with one of the head coaches here, and he's no longer here. And I'll just leave it there. But I love teaching in Carroll County. I love everything about Carroll County, and I hope Carroll County wins every game but one every year. And that would be the Galax game. But and I do things here to help and I'll do anything I can to help Coach Shipman. There's some players here that I coach the line at Galax, but I talk to them about, hey, do this, your technique, do that, because it's really not about all the rivalry, like helping kids around here and things like that. But yeah, we've been in the state championship 3 times and lost all 3 times to Riverheads, and Riverheads has now moved up. I wish we could take some of those great teams we had. We had some great teams. We won the region and won the district 11 years in a row, and some of those great teams. I felt like we were the best team in the state, and Riverheads was. They were a 2A team playing in 1A, and they won, but they had the longest winning streak in the United States there for quite a while. Galax was the last team to beat them in the state championship, beat them 7-6 in 2015. But we came so close. But and I do remember the first year we lost 31-24, and it was a tie game, and we lost. And I was like, oh gosh, here are these kids and me. We came so close to a state championship ring and all those things. And then I thought about how stupid I was, about how the relationships that I built with the kids and all those things, that was more important than some ring you'd stick in a box and never see, or maybe you could brag to somebody about it or something like that. But, it was the relationships, the most important things that you had with those. Yeah. I love the relationships I had with players here in Carroll County. I love the relationships I have with kids in Galax, too. And there's a big rivalry with all that stuff, but I don't really care about all that stuff. I think for kids to be successful in Carroll County, in Galax or Grayson.
Yeah, that's great. You also are part of the Historical Society, and you work a lot on the Sidna House. Right.
It's a big part of my life, too. I love history. I'm just not a millionaire, so I have to donate my time instead of all the money that's needed there. I did paint pretty much the whole 99% of the outside. Painted that. Just actually... 2 weeks ago, we painted what's called the ladies' parlor, the women's parlor in the front, and really you have to. I'm certified in lead paint abatement, lead paint removal, and so I had to take the lead paint from the ceiling and paint the ceiling, the women's parlor, and paint the walls. We had to put primer up to get ready for wallpaper. Hopefully, in a year or two, we'll get that. But everything in the historical society, like depended upon money, and we're in the running for a $200,000 grant in the fall, and. We had a lot of good news about that, but then all of a sudden, then the Democrats and Republicans had trouble with the budget, and then they passed the debt ceiling, and then those things. So haven't heard anything. We're supposed to find out by the fall, so it's not a good sign. Yeah. But that would make a big difference. That would make all the difference in the world, the things that we want. But people pass by all the time and tell me, because I'm known as that guy that climbs on the scaffolding and stuff like that. But they say, oh gosh, it looks so great, it looks so great. I said, every time I go by, I see like 5,000 jobs that need to be done. But we've come a long way. And, even this spring, we had a gentleman that came in and put 3 wood floors in for the 3 back rooms. And it's really changed it. And in the last 2 years, it's really taken off. I didn't think that it would happen that fast. I thought it would take longer. We're progressing. We still got a lot to do there. And we have tours at the beginning of every month in the summer, every Saturday and Sunday. Our next one will be, I'm trying to think, August. It's the first Saturday and Sunday in August. Okay. I want to say, I'll be wrong.
I can look.
Yeah, if you can look. Yeah, because we just finished up in July. We did July 1st and 2nd. And
I think it's going to be the 5th and 6th.
Yeah. August 5th and 6th.
5th and 6th, yeah. And we're there from 1 to 4, and there's no charge. People come in, and we have lots of people that come from North Carolina, people that come local. And there's a number of us that give tours, and I give tours. Other people in the Historical Society. I'm just one member of like 13 members, and different people have different talents and abilities. Some people don't work on the house, but they do all kinds of things with being treasurer, money, president, and organizing things. I mean, that's, I'm just... any dummy out there with the paintbrush, I can do that. Okay, they're doing some of the hard stuff, so I don't want it to be like I'm the only one doing things. No, everybody's doing things. I'm just the guy that they see out there painting. Okay, and blow the horn as they go by. I guess.
I think everybody in Carroll County is really familiar with the courthouse shooting story. Yeah. When did you really start getting into it?
Well, again, I'll talk to you about me as a kid. As me as a kid, my parents had some books laying around. Rufus Gardner wrote some books about the courthouse tragedy. And if you know the story, Rufus Gardner, may be a little biased, or may not everything be true and things like that, but it sparked my interest in it. But my parents always told me don't ever talk about it. And, I was 42 years old before I really could talk about it in public. My parents would say don't ever talk about it. But when I got on the Historical Society board, I had to know the story, so I had to go back and read over. I had to go back and read over it, and I give tours for the courthouse now too, and tours of the Sidna House. So I have to know, and it's really addictive once you get started in a story because it branches out so many different directions, so many characters to follow. It's just really an appealing story, and I think if they could make a movie about the Hatfields and McCoys, you should definitely be able to make one about the shootout.
Yeah.
Definitely. And there people have talked about this from the 70s. For 50, 60 years, people have talked about making a movie. And people came in to look about it, but nothing's ever been finalized. But I think maybe one day if that happens, I think the story would really take off. But some Hollywood producers that have saw it said, well, it's just too localized of a story. But I think if they give it a chance, and if you see some of the other movies they make on TV, I look at that and say, goodness gracious, if they can make that, they could definitely make one about these shootouts. And it's a great story of both sides. Some people want to be the Allens were great, the Allens were bad. There's two sides to every story, and they're not going to be all bad or all good like any human being. They're going to have characteristics and traits, and maybe they're more good than bad, more bad than good. But just give everybody a chance. I see a lot of that in society today, where people want to condemn one side or the other and things like that instead of giving everybody a chance.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've actually done some interviews on TV. Is it WSLS 10?
It's Fox 8.
Fox 8,
yeah. Let's see, I'm trying to think. Chad, he's going to kill me because I can't remember his name. But he's down there at Fox 8 News. He did like 6-part series, 57 shots in 90 seconds. Yeah, he did those. And the great thing, they did a great job with those. They did a great job producing it. And they interviewed people. They interviewed me. There's much better people to interview. Ron Hall is a great person. Shelby Puckett is a great lady, our president. And Howard Sadler, who unfortunately he died a couple months ago. Howard Sadler, great man. And he gave some talks about this. His grandfather rode the train. He rode the train from Pulaski with Judge Massey. And after he was shot, his grandfather had to take his dead body back to Pulaski. He had to undress him, take his clothes back to his widow. He actually testified 27 times in court because he had testified where the bullet wounds were at because he helped undress him at the funeral parlor there in Pulaski. So, losing Howard Sadler was a real shock to him. It was a real shock to his family. His wife, Susu Sadler, was going through breast cancer, and she had a mastectomy, and he was taking care of her, and he unexpectedly died of a heart attack. And we lost a great man there, Howard Sadler. But there are other great people. Tom Jackson, who's in the play. We hope to do the play in the spring of 2024. We're looking forward to doing that again. COVID's knocked us out here for a few years now.
I saw it. Was it 2019? Was the last time y'all did it?
Yes, 2019. We're getting ready.
I saw a show in 2019.
Yeah, we were practicing for 2020. We had actually had a few informal practices. We had met, and then of course COVID hit and the world changed, and we've lost about 3 members to COVID too that were older. But so you saw the show in 2019?
I did.
Okay.
I think it was the night Virginia played for the national championship game.
Okay.
That night.
Yeah. Well, I'm in there just a little bit. Okay, hopefully I didn't mess up all the great actors, but I'm in there a little bit. But Tom Jackson, Stu Shanks, oh gosh, I know all these. Kay Cox, I'll leave somebody out. All the great actors.
It's a good show.
The great thing too, and I don't know if everybody realizes, is Victor Allen, who has the garage in there. Victor Allen's related to the Allens. He's the Allen faction. He plays the sheriff in the play. He plays the other side. And he does it day in and day out. It's just a great reconciliation and healing, I guess, but that he's good enough to do that. And he actually has the badge. The sheriff that was shot, he has his, the police department donated the badge to him where he played it in the play. But Frank Levering, who does the play, is a great man. And, we have... we don't have Hollywood actors, but we have local actors that do really well and take pride. And we really want to do the story the correct way. We don't want to make it to be a farce or ridiculous, but we want it to. It was serious. It did destroy lives and families, and there was 5 people killed, all the people that were injured. I think I was reading something like there was. So many orphans made because of this, and then the 2 electrocutions of Claude and Floyd Allen. Yeah, it's a great story if anybody gets a chance to go to the plays. Hopefully we'll do that in 2024 in the spring.
Yeah. So for our listeners who don't know, where is the Sidna Allen House and where is the play?
Okay, first question. The Sidna Allen House is about 7 miles from the courthouse. It's 7 miles from Hillsville there on Fancy Gap on 52. You can't miss it if you've been by. You can't miss it. Great house there. I did have students in the past who mistakenly say, "Hey, the shootout happened there." I was like, "No, the shootout happened in the courthouse, in the old courthouse." And if you go there, I think everyone knows here's the stories. If you go on the south side of the steps, the green steps going up the courtroom, steps 9 and 13 have bullet holes in them, and you can see that. But now what a lot of people don't know, on the north side, if you look on the north side, there's no bullet holes in the steps. But if you're walking up the steps, you go up the steps just a little ways. I don't know exactly what step number it is. But if you look up, you'll see just right above your head, there's all these square bricks. And all of a sudden there's a smooth, like there's something smooth, like something bore. It's where the bullet hit it and it ricocheted out.
Oh.
That's where Dexter Go was shooting at Sidna Allen. So a lot of people don't know that. So if you ever go there next time and you look, you take a few steps up and you start looking around and you'll see, like, that's out of place.
Yeah.
All the bricks are fine, but you see this thing, it looks like something's grooved through it. It has. It's a bullet that hit and ricocheted out and I guess to the street there. So it happened in the courtroom. And when we do the play, usually 125 tickets. We cram everybody in there like sardines so we can get as many people as we can. We had talked to Frank about maybe doing it somewhere else, maybe doing it here at Carroll County High School. We're doing it here and all those things. But he said, no, you can't replace the fact that we're doing the play where it happened.
Yeah.
We're doing, and I understand that.
Yeah.
I think he likes the romantic aspect of that. But it's jam packed. Sometimes it gets pretty hot in there. It's a long play. It is. It's just, and we leave a lot of stuff out too in the long play. But there's just so much because after the intermission, you find out what happens in the lives. He touches on the lives. Doesn't go the full story, but touches on the lives and how they drastically changed after the shootout. Yeah. This is a great thing to see if you can.
When did the production start on the play originally?
When it first started, I started in 2012, and 2012 was the 100th anniversary. And when Frank Levering did the play, I wasn't part of the play. He was probably much better then. But when he did the play, they had to have police because they're afraid people get upset that they're doing the play. And then I think the third night of the play, older lady stood up and said, "That ain't right." She's telling the actors they were wrong, telling them that ain't right, and because people still have strong feelings today. But after the 12 shows, they figured out they didn't need police presence. That people maybe after 100 years, it took a while for healing and things like that. But a side note, if you saw the play in 2019, there's a part in the play, and I don't want to tell you the whole play, but a part in the play where Betty Mitchell Allen. Betty she's meets Dexter Go and she's upset with him and she slaps him. Yeah. I don't know if you remember that part in the play. All right, this is how people are over 100 years later. There are people that know that that's going to happen. They come and see the place and they give Kay Cox, they give her $50, $100 to put into the Sidna Allen House. They donate that if she will slap Dexter Goad as hard as she can. And Dexter Goad is Joey Haynes. And Joey Haynes is a great sport because we have 12 shows. He gets slapped in the face 12 times. And he'll come in the back, and we'll be in the back waiting for the next scene, and we'll hear it pop. And we'll see a red handprint when he comes back. It's like, oh gosh. The night Kay got $100, that was the worst slap. No, but and you're like, wait just a minute, Dexter Goad's gone. This is not Betty Allen. But people have such strong feelings. It just makes them feel so good that he's getting what he deserves. and that's not, Dexter Go, that's not fair to him too. Sometimes people want to make you a villain, make Dexter Go to a villain, and things like that. I don't know. Maybe he was just as good as bad as anybody else. But that always shocks me that people are so today. And here's this poor Joey Haynes getting slapped, but he's a good sport. He does it, and the money goes to the Sidna Allen House, which is great.
And the courthouse is actually celebrating its 150th anniversary this year.
Yes.
And you actually had an event
a
few weeks ago.
Yes. Ron Hall spoke about the building of this. Ira Coltrane built it. Ira Coltrane did a lot of great things. He's really the first guy that built the 52 up and down the mountain. We didn't have 50. The road wasn't built, and he would cross through there and say, it has to be a great place. And he engineered the road coming up. He engineered 52. I guess I'll put a plug in here for Harmon's Museum. If you ever go to Harmon's Museum, you'll see they have Ira Coltrane's big toolbox. And if you open it up, it's got his tools in it. It's there on display there. It has a number of other things. He built a bridge. There's a covered bridge on 52. over there past Water Plant Road, going on 52. Just right outside of town, on the north end of town. But he did a lot of great things, and you talk about how he designed it. It's the only courthouse that you'll see in Virginia that has the columns, has a portico, the columns, okay, and the arches and things like that. And it just, Carroll County at the time when he built it, we didn't really have very much. And if you see the pictures, the mud roads and things like that.
When was the last time that courthouse was actually used for court?
Oh, goodness. Well, I'll tell my age here. When I was a kid, I don't know. You guys are kids. Do you go in front of the judge to get your license today?
No, not anymore.
Yeah, people used to do that. Well, I had to go in front of the judge in the old courtroom a long, long time ago. 1983, I guess it was. But you had to go there. But I think it was the 80s. But every once in a while, if there's an overflow from the courtroom, they will come over to the old courthouse every once in a while. It hasn't been done in a while, but they will if they have overflow. They've done pretty well, and I guess COVID changed things and things like that. But I would guess, probably early 90s. Yeah. Because there's a lot of people that when I'm there in the museum, sometimes I stop by the museum and there's somebody comes and say, I came to pay my bill. And my phone told me to come here. It's like, well, this is the old courthouse. This is right over there. Have to direct them to the new courthouse.
So you mentioned Harmon's Museum. Can you tell us a bit about it?
Well, Harmon's Museum, just a disclaimer, I'm related to them. Gooch Harmon, who built the museum, his father and my grandfather were brothers. They were brothers, so I don't know, second, third, whatever, because it's things like that. When I was a kid growing up, his son Tom Harmon is a few years older than me. We would run around playing his house, collect baseball cards, run around, do all kinds of dumb stuff probably. But I would open up a closet door. I'd open a cannonball go rolling out, a musket would fall over. And I know his wife Yuta was really glad when he built that museum because it cleared their house out because he had stuff scattered everywhere. And it's a great testament to Gooch Harmon, the Harmon family, Amy and Sherry and Tom Harmon, they're his kids. And his wife Yuta is still alive. It's a great museum. The museum we have in Hillsville is a great museum too, but just for a local museum, and if you want to see sheepskin land grants, which you can't see everywhere, not many places have them, it has quite a few there. A lot of Indian artifacts, Native American Indian artifacts. If you're really into that sort of thing, Matthews Museum up in Galax is great. They have a large collection up there too. And I do a little work with them helping catalog things, and they have a great museum too, all our local history here, preserving it.
And the one in the old courthouse too, that museum?
The one that we have, the Carroll County Historical Museum, is great. But now the Matthews Museum in Galax, they're next to the Galax Library. It's really great too. They have more Native American Indian artifacts than anywhere around. We at the Carroll County Historical Society Museum, we have quite a few. And Siebert Sisson had archaeological digs here in Carroll County, and a lot of those Indian artifacts are from here in Carroll County, like pot rock. The cave, they dug up things, pot rock. There's three areas in Carroll County. I think a Crooked Creek site. They had a Crooked Creek site. He did this in the late 60s, early 70s. But he has, and this is in the days before everybody tried to dig him up and stuff like that. But Siebert Sisson, we have a lot of his artifacts on display there. A lot of great things. Harmon's has a lot of great things too. Matthews Museum also too. And
to look back to your career here at the high school, you're also involved in the Leo Club. Can you touch on that?
Well, the Leo Club, one thing is COVID hurt a lot of things and things like that. But I do Leo Club, and what's happened in the past few years, Leo Club is joined with Interact, which was a total natural interaction. Because in Leo Club, I have students who are generally 9th and 10th grade and can't drive. Interact is 11th and 12th grade. And me and Miss Dalton does a lot of great things. She does great things. I couldn't do it without her. And, I'm overwhelmed sometimes with all the things that are going on. Like Smoke in the Mountains is coming up soon. And she's really great for getting all those things out and stuff like that. I show up and do the, manual labor grunt work. And she does all the intellectual work and things like that. But she does so much work. Miss Dalton, she deserves so much praise for everything she does. And she's been doing it for a really long time. She's been doing it 3 times longer than I have. But she really keeps us going. And with Leo Club, we just do anything that people need, any needs of the community. I remember we had a couple that were they were disabled, and we mowed and weed eated for them. We went there, and of course, we always pick the hottest day of the year. We went there, and they were just so happy. And we pick up trash on the side of the road. We do the Carroll Christmas Fund. We sometimes wash cars to make money and things like that. But COVID has really thrown things off, and we're getting back into it. We did better this year. I need to do a much better job next year too. But people in Carroll County are good people, want to help people out. It's a great thing I love about living here is everybody wants to help everybody out.
Is it related to Rotary?
It's Lions Club.
Yeah.
Is it what?
Affiliated with the Lions
Yeah,
Club?
we're sponsored. Yeah, the Lions Club sponsors, and they would help us out with anything that we need and things like that. Really, like the Lions Club's adults and Leo Clubs, you're smaller, and they have chapters all over the world. Miss Robinson, Miss Kim Robinson did it before me, and just like a lot of people, Miss Robinson very, very busy, and it's so hard to do because we have so many different avenues, things that we go through, and it's like every weekend something's going on, and there's no way I can be there, Miss Knoll can be there, so we send out, and she'll send out mainly. If you want to join up for this, you can join up for that. But as soon as you get there, make sure to talk to the person that's in charge, because we're there sometimes. I think, oh gosh, we got the animal show coming up soon and things like that. And like Miss Harmon, is a judge. She's doing some things there, and then we go by and help out with that. Make sure people have water and hand out ribbons and things like that. But so we're involved in lots and lots of things. And if you ever want to join Leo Club or interact, you don't have to be at every single thing. Okay, just a few things help. Every little thing that you can do helps.
When did that start?
Did the Leo Club start?
Yeah.
Oh goodness. It was here before me, and oh goodness gracious, I want to say it's been probably 10, 12 years.
Okay.
And it may be before then, please don't quote me. But Lions Club has really, really, really helped us get started with that. And then, we organized and we got our affiliation, and we did that about 8 years ago. Yeah.
Don't they have a glasses fund? Or some
Yes,
sort?
the Lions, where you donate old glasses, or reading glasses, or anything like that, and they ship those off to the main base, and then they send them to different people that need different things, even different countries if needed.
Yeah. And do they do the eye checking every year? Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was them or.
Yeah, they do lots of things too.
Yeah.
I'd be afraid to list all that. I'd leave everything out.
Yeah.
But they do great things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so beneficial. And the thing about today is a lot of people want to volunteer and things like this, but a lot of people are finding, well, I can just go binge watch Netflix, or I can be on my phone and things like that. And I think, starting to lose the sense of community because people want to do all these things. And then people ask me if I did have a student ask me one time where I'm pushing for I go to different rooms and try to recruit people to do Leo Club, and a student said, well, what does it pay? And I said, well, we don't want you in our group. And he just couldn't believe it. I was like, well, if you're looking for money, okay, really the real wealth comes from helping other people. I mean, the real value is being a community, helping other people. You help people, they help you. Just being a part of the community instead of just being just floating around the universe is a great thing. I do a lot of restoration of the Sidna house, and I would encourage anybody's reviewers or anything like that. Go on Hulu if you have Hulu. Go on Hulu. There's a great series, and it's called The Craftsman. So Eric Hollenbach. Eric Hollenbach is a great man from Eureka, California, and he, the reason I got interested is restoring things, like he restores things like the Sidna house. He's a great man. He testified in front of Congress there with President Clinton and other things about businesses and sawmills. But it's a great show. I can't think of a better show. He runs the Blue Ox Millworks in Eureka, California. He's a great man, and and he talks about it all the time. He said, "Hey, it's not about money. It's about money, satisfaction of doing your job well, and you can see when you built something. Did you really care about the community and things like that? If you look, we started a while back talking about the courthouse. You can see our Coltrane loved the community he was in. He took pride in it. He went over on the budget." And he paid for it out of his own pocket. Wow. Because he went over on budget. But he wanted something people in Carroll County to be proud of. He wasn't throwing a job together to get money. You can see he cares about his community. He wanted Carroll County to have something to be proud of. And I think he still can be today in 2023.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you collect photos of the Sidna Allen House as well.
I do. I collect a lot of photos. Okay, I think it drives my wife crazy. 'Cause I have 3 notebooks. I probably have maybe 300 pictures. Yeah. And Ron Hall, who wrote the definitive book, The Carroll County Courthouse Tragedy, I was great thrill for me. He would go through my notebooks and he'd say, "There's 20 pictures in here I've never saw in my life." Yeah. Anybody associated with the shootout, anybody associated with it, any pictures, there's Library of Congress has photos of this. They have photos from the courtroom. They have people that pose. I have all these things, but sometimes they're better. Sometimes maybe you can find one better. And people find them all the time. Yeah. There are people in Tennessee that they would put on eBay a picture of the Sidna house that we didn't have, or angle we didn't have, and things like that. There are pictures from the Harmon's Museum where it showed Floyd Allen being taken out of a wagon to go to court. And it's really light. You can't see it. I restored it a little bit, but it's a great, great picture. But, they're the only ones that I know of. Maybe somebody else has one of those. There's another picture where the Sidna Allen house is being built, and they're standing on scaffolding, and Sidna Allen's at the top with Ephraim Dickens, who helped design it. But that picture's not the greatest in the world. We tried to restore it as best we could, but I'm sure there may be somebody out there that has one of those. But what we'd like to do with that, we'd like to put all those photos in a book, and we'd like to publish that one day, the photographic album, to see those things, because a lot of people are visual learners, and just to see the photos. And I mentioned Howard Sadler earlier. I talked to Howard Sadler about maybe, we can restore some of these things. They can do all these things with color and things like that. And he's like, no, can't do that. He said, you're taking away from the original. So black and white. Because I showed him some pictures that we had worked on here at school with Miss Williams, Miss Christy Williams, and she restored it. And it looked great, but it's still not the same. Yeah.
But they just put, have you seen They Shall Not Grow Old?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They just put that on Netflix.
Okay, you just put it on Netflix. I actually own it. I bought that. Yeah, great. What's it? Is it Peter King?
Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson. Is that who he is?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Peter Jackson. Yeah, who did Lord of the Rings? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he took 3 years to restore World War I footage. It's a great, and he did a great job. He shows the black and white, and he shows that, but it really comes to life because it's colored voices, voiceovers. But yeah, if you get a chance to watch that, it's great. And when they first previewed that before they put it on the movie theaters and IMAX and stuff like that, it didn't really play too much in the United States. Europe, it was bigger. But when they did that, college students would watch it and say, this is a movie. This is not real. It's not real people. And it was real people with voiceovers, with people that look like them. But yeah, I would highly recommend that. They Should Never Grow Old, about World War I.
Also, when I was in your class last year, I guess.
Okay, with a mask on every day?
Yeah, with a mask on. Yeah. That's right.
A lot of students they come up to me and say, I didn't know what you look like. Yeah. And I was like, who are you? Because I didn't know what they look like either. But yeah.
Well, when the mask mandate finally got removed, I was surprised because of the mustache and the beard.
Okay, yeah. You're like, put it back on.
No. Okay. But when I was in your class, you mentioned Band of Brothers.
Yeah.
And you were a big fan of Band of Brothers. And I know Luke is also a big fan.
Yeah. A little disclaimer. I don't approve of the language. Okay, let me say that. Okay, but yeah, great movie. Great series, I guess, about World War II. And even the Pacific. The Pacific is really good, too, concerning World War II. It's a series like Band of Brothers. And I recommend those. I wouldn't show those to little kids. And also the language, I could do without, but that's what happens in warfare. Yeah, but it's a great, great series. And great book, Band of Brothers, Beyond Band of Brothers, New York Times bestsellers. If you get a chance to read those. Yeah, great series. Yeah. Sure.
Well, as we're wrapping up here, we always have a series of questions we ask our interviewees. I'll go ahead. What's your advice for adolescents or young adults who are just making their way in the world, but they don't really know what they want to do with their lives?
Try to do everything you can so you can find out. Okay, because you may be the greatest at something in the world and not even try it. So try everything you can. If you don't like it, that's fine. And a lot of young people are so afraid to fail. They're afraid to fail, and that's how you learn. They're scared to death to talk. They're scared to death to do anything. They're afraid they're going to fail. It's like, that's life. That's what makes it so fun. Fail, you just one thing too, if you do fail, just try to correct it. Okay, too. But if you do things, and I don't know, you guys may have heard me say this in class, but if you do things you're always successful at, your life's not going to be any fun. You're going to do easy things. Okay, and you get the most growth out of life is sometimes failing. Okay, I tell them, please don't make it my class. Okay, but try things that are difficult. Try things that are hard. Do different things. It's a spice of life instead of doing the same old, same old. I have students right now that play video games. It's like, how can you play video games for like 8 hours, 10 hours? Goodness, so much to do in the world. I like to play video games too, but just, there's so many other things. Like limit it. Limit what you do with, your cell phone. Limit things. Because all the studies are showing the dopamine that people get from being on their phone all the time. Because after a while, it's not special being on your phone because you do it over and over again. It's like a drug. You do it over and over again. You need more and more. And then we get in a cycle, and then and you're like, I just was on my phone for 30 minutes. What did I do? What did I accomplish? And just hanging out. And, your phone's great, and you can do those. And I zone out and do stuff. Everybody does. But just try to limit it.
Yeah.
I guess if I could encourage anybody that's younger.
And the next question is kind of a doozy.
What is the meaning of life to you?
The meaning of life to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
We get
Tough question here at the end.
Yeah, we get a lot of great answers.
Well, the meaning of life, to do the best you can. I mean, like, there's all these people, it's not fair. Be thankful for what you have. I see a lot of people today that feel entitled. Just be thankful for what you have. Do the best you can in life, and it's not going to be fair. But the meaning of life. Well, first of all, be religious is you do have a purpose in life. Faith. As a teacher, sometimes I have to watch faith and things like that, what I say and things like that. And then I feel bad about that. It's like, I don't want to be ashamed of God. I don't want to be ashamed of that. But then you don't want to offend somebody. But then, it's a fine line. Yeah. But that you do have a purpose. One of the great things I did last month, I went to the Creation Museum in the Ark. And it was great. I would encourage anybody to go there and see that. But the meaning of life is just, leave this world a better place than the way you found it. Like, do the best you can in everything in life. And, if it doesn't work out, at least you do the best you could. Do the best you can in everything in life. Try and help as many people as you can. And you do have a purpose in life. Sometimes I've thought things have been bad in my life or something bad has happened, but it's closed one door and opened another. My daughter just recently, 6 months ago, she had her dream job, and they downsized, and she was eating lunch and walked in and said, "Clear your desk out. Today's your last day. We're downsizing." And she's like, "Oh my gosh." And then here we are 6 months later, and she has a much better job. It's a totally great situation. One door closed, another door open. In my life, where I've tried to press my will instead of God's will, things have always worked out badly. Whenever I've tried to do it my way and press things and try and fight against the current the most is when I've had the most trouble, instead of trying to see what plan God has revealed for me. I don't know if that went around and around your question.
That's good.
But as you get older, you start to think about those things a little bit more. Is like, what do you want your legacy to be? I mean, what do you want? Make a lot of money, play a lot of video games, watch a lot of TV. I mean, what do you want? That's ready to step outside every once in a while and think of that, because there is meaning. There's a lot of people today, younger people commit suicide and other things. It's like, you know a place, you do have a meaning. You do. Your life is important. It's not just some random thing that happened. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you guys so much. Well, it's been an honor. You guys, I'm glad you guys are doing something like this. I know you guys will do whatever you two guys do in life. You guys will be great. You'll be outstanding at it just because the type of people you are.
Thank you.
I don't know what you guys will do in life, but you'll be great at it.
Thank you,
sir.
Thank you guys.